Okay, we're back for the second half of the show, and Kathy was still on the line, and she had mentioned that she was in her 70s and that she had lost some weight, and she attributed I said mentioned about metformin helping with weight loss, and this is certainly true when you're obese, and the fact that you did reduce your carbohydrates made the biggest difference in your weight loss. Metformin helps basically reduce insulin surges, and so the fact that you have lost that weight makes metformin a little bit less effective in the weight loss department, meaning you can simulate taking metformin by doing basically a nibbling diet, because you're basically going to reduce the insulin spike. So, and that's what metformin does. It actually reduces the effects of the insulin on your body so that you don't gain as much weight with that, and attributes to some weight loss. But you could do all the way with that with basically walking after you eat. Now, I know some people are limited because of arthritic or other neurologic or other issues that are going to interfere with their ability to walk. And in that condition, I would say do anything that your body will allow you to do. And if that is not the case, then you really need to look at your carbohydrates and eat more of a refined protein. And if you can't do any of that, well, then I guess you're going to be relegated to being overweight and trying to get those diabetes situation under control. But based on what you told me, Kathy, I believe that your insulin levels are decreasing a little bit. You could be making less insulin, and the next time your physician checks your insulin, make sure they do a fasting insulin, and that will help fit the pieces to the puzzle. I think we have Richard on the phone. Richard?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Reiner. Any relation to Carl?
Oh, no. No, but it would be nice.
Yeah, sure would, wouldn't it? Well, I just wanted to know where I could get a permit to be able to use my medication when I get enough money to buy some.
What was that now?
I just wanted to know who to talk to about getting a permit to use the medication when I get enough money to buy some.
You mean marijuana?
Yes.
Well, I was hoping to have the Grove. I guess I think they're going to be they're the local dispensary on the thing, but I think they're stuck in trying to get their license done.
Yeah, I know. I was at a presentation that they gave, and they were saying similar things, that they had some glitches. But in the meantime, other people are getting the medicine that they need for their pain, and I would like to have some too.
Hold on a second. My producer's adjusting the sound on the thing. So,
okay. Yeah.
Tell me that again.
Well, other people are getting their medication, and I'd like to get some too, because I have a lot of pain. And I'm 71 years old, and it just, it would just help me sleep and live a little better.
Right. Well, sleep is not really an indication for, it's not an indication on the form for marijuana usage, meaning they...
Oh, but I have a lot of pain in my back. I have a back injury that I suffered about 15 years ago.
Okay, now that works. I mean, chronic pain works, and obviously now what I did not know, and there's some people that are very versed in the law more than I am, but there is an advantage to getting your medical marijuana form supposedly in, or your license in, as soon as possible, because I think once the dispensary is in fact in town, I think if you're within 35 miles of the dispensary, you will not be able to grow your own marijuana. I don't know the legalities, and that's why I wanted to get them on here. So if you do have the card, it is very important. Now, I don't know the community and the culture out there with procuring your own seed or growing your own marijuana. It's one of the things that's kind of left for, this is that gray zone where people say, okay, here's the card, here's a license, now go figure it out. But there are communities. I think the guy who runs the hydroponic plants up there has a way to be able to help you set up the growing, where you get seeds and where you get stuff of that nature. That is that's the big question mark out there. And
yeah.
So
well, I'd like to start the process somehow. I just don't know what to do or who to talk to.
Yeah. Well, the hydroponics guy up here on the corner of Basin, I think, understands how to grow it. And that's a person you might want to contact. He can help you. I think it's called Happy Hydroponics.
Yes.
And this is a resource. He came by my office one day and gave me his card because there are people that wanted that information. And I think that's a guy who you want to get in touch with to help you set you up with what you need to be able to grow the marijuana, and you can if you're legal to do so. So that's where I would go from that. As far as then he might be able to, I don't know that he knows anybody with seeds. I think you have to find somebody that is actually growing marijuana, that's producing seeds, and figure out how to get that from them.
All right. Well, it's a lead. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
I appreciate that. So, yeah, it's it's one of those subjects that, because of the feds and because of the way things go, they want to help you, but they don't want. I mean, they want to let you do it, but they don't want to give you the information. But there's a big community out there of marijuana growers and people that are using it for medicinal purposes, and I think it's something that's kind of it's not like that movie, what was it, Animal House, where there's that one scene where they close up the windows and bolt the doors and, turn everything out and then, light up a joint. It's not like that anymore, but boy, I tell you, when it comes to getting information on how to do things, it's still the cops and robbers type of thing. And I would think the police force has a little bit better things to do than trying to do that. According to the DEA, if you have over 1,000, you have to be, to consider it a distributor, you have to have over 1,000 plants. Do you realize that? 1,000 plants. That's a forest. So I don't think anybody has anywhere near that number of plants in their house. But that being said, there are some decent people out there who know how to grow stuff, and I won't mention their names, but they have some green thumbs, and so you might want to look at that. And like I said, I'm a big supporter of medicinal marijuana. I do believe that it helps those people. If you ask the DEA, they'll tell you there's no substantial studies that prove it. But for patients that really do get improvement with their ailments, and like Richard said, I mean, he has chronic back pain and he can't sleep. So the sleep is the nice part about it, but the chronic back pain and the severe pain, they listed as severe on the form. I mean, what is that? I mean, pain is very subjective. There is no way to objectively measure your pain, meaning I can't put a thermometer on your head and say, okay, your pain's a 9, your pain's a 7, as we can do with temperature, 98.1, 97, 96, 101. There's no way to subjectively or objectively measure pain. It's measured on a scale of 1 to 10, but there are people that have fibromyalgia and who have altered pain curves. So, and what that means is their tolerance is low. So a 2 to them would be a 0 to somebody else. A 5 to them would be a 1 to somebody else. So who's to say what that is? But for them, severe pain. Now, whether or not that's the doctor's decision to be able to say whether or not that qualifies for a marijuana card. And I'm pretty liberal in that respect, because I face all the time the problems with patients not being able to get their opioid prescriptions. And again, that brings up another very sore spot with me, which is this absolute game that the pharmacist and the other people are playing with. They're playing with your health, and they're playing with your ability to be able to get pain relief. Because once you start down the opioid highway, there really is not really a good exit, and that's really a very hard thing for people to understand, that once you're taking chronic morphine and chronic methadone or chronic long-acting opioids, it's very, very difficult to get off of them. And you can. I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible. You may have to seek the help of people that prescribe Suboxone, as Ray has talked about, which is Dr. Andraki in town. I mean, you may have to get the help of an addictionologist and some other people who are willing to help you get off of those particular products, and there is help out there. You can do it a very slow method to reduce the amount of medication over a long period of time, and that can be done. But once you build up to a certain tolerance, your body is going to be screaming for that pain medication. And I have seen people actually get off their hydrocodone. They get off of their other chronic medications when they use marijuana. And so I think anything that requires a controlled drug, or you have a lot of chronic pain, you're having to take a lot of medication, marijuana would be something you might want to try. And I certainly would be able to help you get the card, supposing that you have a legitimate reason to be able to use that. And I've said it over and over again, if you're going to come in and lie, that's your problem. I'm not a lie detector. But if you're going to come in and you have a legitimate reason for your pain, you have a chronic problem, that's good enough for me. You'll have to do your homework on how to procure marijuana, and hopefully the Grove will be open soon and help to fill the needs for those people. I'm not really in favor of the fact that you no longer will be able to grow it because there are indigent people who can't afford marijuana. Do I think it's better to buy it from a dispensary if you can afford to? Yes, I do. Because there are different strains, there are different amount of cannabinoids, and these people are experts in being able to define that. In fact, I saw a bottle from a patient up in Tonopah who got it from, I think, one of the northern areas, and it actually had the percentages of the different cannabinoids and different products is on there. So the state makes them label that, and I thought that was very nice the way that was done. So we're going to go to break, and we're going to come back. Hopefully we'll get another caller, and we'll bring up another subject for the last 15 minutes, and thank you for tuning in.